Greetings traders out there in Traderland. D7 here with Grok Trade. And per usual, anytime I say warning, 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 the Feds come storming back in, pumping money into the markets, keeping this market afloat, even after it breaks significant support levels. But I want to show you a couple things here. Oh, last video, go to the time, what was it, 6 minutes 15 seconds. Go to 6 minutes 15 seconds and listen to what I said at that point, saying how I fully expect the Feds to come in and save the day. They did it yet again. It's been 12 years of that. Interesting times. But let's take a look here at the spider, the S&P 500 daily chart. Down, 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 had this colossal drop. And what looks to be a V bottom, we rallied right after my video. Monday, big pop, filling the gap. Tuesday, nice pop, stutter step on Wednesday. Thursday, higher. Friday, higher. What's interesting on Friday is we did close over this trend line coming across there. We did close above that. That's pretty good. We have a much bigger trend line right there that's got to contend with. But after a 6-day run, what do you think should happen next? Good opportunity for the pullback to commence. The question is, how deep and how bad will that be? Or will we base? Or will we just melt upwards? Really interesting here. So I think the best thing to do is look at higher time frames to see if we can get an idea of what might take place. Here's the spider's weekly chart. So the spider weekly chart's been in this rising wedge, everything hunky-dory until last week. Last week we did break down. Last week we closed right at that support line coming across. You remember I was talking about that right there to the penny, just perfectly. And sure enough, we get a bounce from there. We're bouncing. This is what I usually call a dead cat bounce, where you've broke a support level, this trend line, and it bounces because it doesn't know that it's not still alive. Here's where the jury is, guys, and this is I'm really watching this closely. Will next week heal itself? In other words, this other candlestick that will start right here on the spider 426 area, 427, rally higher and heal itself by week's end to get above 430, 432 area. Will it do that? If so, that will prove to be really bullish. If it doesn't, then what was acting as support will now act as resistance. And at that point, you're on the wrong side of this line. You'll come up, hit its head, and then drop. Okay? And there you will have what's called the rolling over. Unless you're a 301 grad, you won't know really what that is. But anyway, there's the rising wedge on the weekly chart. You can see it goes way back, way back. So it's been confirmed and validated many, many times. And now we broke down below it and we're rallying up. The chances are that that trend line now will act as resistance, even though we'll be making these new highs. You know, we're going to be going higher than that swing, making those new highs. If we do not get a close next week by next Friday above that trend line, okay, that will not bode well for the spiders, the S&P 500, which is the best barometer of all the major indices out there, because it's 500 blue chip companies and well weighted across all major sectors. Okay, now let's look at this. Let's look at this. The monthly is just up, 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 up. There's nothing to complain about, nothing to worry about on the monthly. The monthly just keeps going higher. As long as it keeps melting higher, that is all well and good. Again, on the daily chart here, we did break one trend line. We have another bigger trend line. Will that be the drop? And on the weekly chart, will it become a red candlestick right there? So that's something we're watching very closely. Now, the Nasdaq might tell us the tell. Let's see what happens. The Nasdaq Thursday broke a major trend line, guys. This was huge. For Thursday to break above it, doji out, and then Friday to stutter step and to not drop back below this trend line is huge. So that trend line, it hit it here. This is February 2021. We had a drop. We hit it again, April 2021, drop. We hit it again, April 2021, we dropped. We got to it and we broke over it. That is a great sign, guys. A great sign. What I foresee happening on the daily chart on the Nasdaq, the Qs, is we'll stay above this trend line. If we stay above this trend line, building a high base, that will give us a platform which to launch from to go higher in this market. But it needs to rest. After a big rally like this, we need to rest on the Qs. Very important that it does that, to have good confidence that we're going to go higher. But the other thing I'd like to look at is the higher time frame. This is the weekly chart. Let's go to the weekly chart. We had resistance, resistance, and on the weekly chart, we broke that area of resistance. That's really good to see. Now, what I'm going to do is tighten that. See how we're not quite touching it right there? I'm going to touch it. I mean, we definitely, with conviction, broke that trend line. Guys, that is big, big. I love that on the weekly and the daily. All is well. I love that on the Nasdaq. So it needs to catch its breath. It needs to stay above this trend line. It needs to stay above this area, which was resistance. It needs to act as support from this point forward. For this market to remain bullish. That's so important. What is the Russell's 2000 doing on the weekly chart? Weekly chart. Russell's 2000. And by the way, let me see here. Yeah, I might as well look at the monthlies because we only have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to round out June. So this is the weekly chart, building this big high base weekly. But this, we need to get above 232. Do you guys see this? Russell's, this is the weekly chart. We got this like triple top going here. We need to break above that to get bullish. We're starting to, if we have a bearish week and another bullish week where we have white, red going sideways, that's more bearish than is bullish. And it needs to just pop here. We have to go higher. This is a weekly chart. If I go down to the daily chart on the Russell's 2000, we broke that support. We rally up. We doji at resistance. You guys see that coming across? Let's blow this up so we can really see it. Resistance. We doji out after an extended run. We're getting ready to drop. That's going to be a double top is what it looks like to me. A double top we're getting ready to make on the Russell 2000 daily chart. So the monthly chart, because like I said, the month's almost over. We just keep melting to the upside. Everything's going higher. There's nothing to freak out about on the monthly right now. The Q's monthly is on the wrong side of this. If I go to the line chart, you can see this support. We broke support. Now it's resistance. We're on the wrong side. Now the line is resistance. So this is not good for, we need to get back above that trend line to stay bullish, but on that trajectory to get back above it, it's going to have to be an extreme bullish move. It could happen, but it's just unlikely because we have a big bearish divergence on the monthly chart. Big bearish divergence. So I'm not seeing this. I'm not seeing this capable of going up too much higher just based off of that divergence. And volume starting to get really weak this week. So on the up rally, the volume was so light on this up run. It's just not a lot of participants. Friday was a big volume day. Really interesting to see that volume. So if I want to go to small caps, this is the monthly. Here's the one chart that tells us we have an issue. So we got this dark cloud cover reversal pattern. It's not quite a hanging man, but it's certainly a dark cloud cover. This is a candlestick reversal pattern. If you look at the MACD right here, we're getting ready to cross over also at an extreme high. Do you guys see that? It's an extreme high getting ready to cross over. This is telling us we are at a top, or there's a really good chance of being at the top on the monthly chart here on small caps of Russell's 2000. So whatever this does, the markets will want to do too. I'm sorry, this is the financials. I said the Russell's 2000. We're looking at the banks. This is the financials, the monthly on the financials. Very important that we see that we have a reversal pattern there. The markets are only strong as the financials there to support them. And This is the one. Let's go to the small caps. So small caps, Russell's bleeding upwards, Nasdaq bleeding upwards, but on the wrong side. This is a monthly chart, right? It won't close out until next Wednesday, I believe, is what we just said. Dow, but the Dow is giving us a month. It's a hanging man, guys. Hanging man on the Dow. So it's not great. Spiders technically is a hanging man. Technically, it is a hanging man. Not as bad as the diamond. So we're getting a lot of large time frame candlestick reversal patterns. So we're long in the tooth with this big rally. We're due to give some back, but the Feds just keep coming in to save the day. Spiders. We looked at that Nasdaq. Okay, so I want to quickly look at the financials weekly chart. So this is problematic. So the weekly broke this trend line. When it did, we had a significant drop to break another trend line. We found support at the 20-week moving average. We bounced off of it, hitting our head at resistance. This is a good place to look for selling to take place on the weekly chart. The only thing it can do is heal itself, and that is to blast back through it, causing a jab. That jab will prove to be really bullish if, in fact, it can do that. If it does get back up here, I think the chances of making new highs on the weekly chart are in our favor. If we stay beneath this trend line, I see us maybe tracking up until we get to this high and then dropping. So it would look like this and then drop right there. That would give us a double top trend reversal pattern, or a big M for murder on here on the financials. Financials is really important, guys, so watch that. Quick look at the daily on the financials. We broke all that support. We rally higher. Remember this weak volume? There's the weak volume. Remember the tick higher on volume on Friday? There it is. Up, caught up in the moving averages. I don't even know if we're going to get to this upper trend line before we drop. I mean, this is a good bear pullback with a 3-to-1, maybe at least a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio to the downside for you guys who are mentor students of ours. So interesting setup here, right? Looking at it technically. Really, really interesting setup right here. And it's at this area of support coming across. I mean, if we were to get a new low at 36.38 area, this thing could start to drop on the financials on the daily chart. If the daily chart does in fact drop after this bear pullback, which it looks like it's going to, that means the weekly chart, as expected, it hits that resistance and will drop again right here for the week, right there. And that could be the set to go lower from that point forward. That's what could happen. And US dollar is up, high base. Look for that to even go higher. US dollar is strong. The weekly stutter step, almost a tweezer top. Be careful with that. That's interesting. The monthly it's just, tracking sideways after a downtrend. So that's just interesting. A lot of mixed signals there. Silver. Let's take a look at silver, guys. Silver had just a big drop. And look at this. On SLV, every day, even though we're going higher, his red day is going higher. Isn't that interesting? That's not a good sign. That means every time we go higher, it's selling lower for the day. Very rare will you see that, all red. That is not good. The weekly on silver had a big drop last week. This past week, it just stuttered step. And this could be, silver's in a lot of trouble. The monthly, it got up above these trend lines, but look what the monthly is doing. It came crashing back down below them. This could be a jab, a bearish jab that could prove to be really bearish for the markets for silver. Gold, same thing. Gold on the monthly, do we drop? We rallied up to resistance, and we're already have this bearish engulfing reversal pattern on the monthly. The weekly, see this? We're trying to heal itself right there on the weekly on gold. It needs to bounce higher or we're toast. But what's interesting is we broke down below that trend line. It's trying to heal itself, but it doesn't know what to do. And this looks really bearish to me on the daily. We go down, a little bear flag, look for that to track lower. VIX, though, what's interesting is last week we broke above. This past week, we came right back down. It held itself. It's like there's no fear in this market. So because of that, you can't assume there's going to be any significant move until fear blasts up on the weekly chart above these trend lines and the moving averages. This market will just keep churning to the upside, period. I hope you made it this far in the video to hear what I just said. That's so important. We're at this area of support. We could bounce higher, but as long as we're within these trend lines and below these moving averages on a daily chart on the fear indicator, the VIX, we're okay in the markets. Bitcoin, oh man, what's crazy, and on my birthday, I had a algorithm say we had a buy signal on Bitcoin. Right after that, the algorithm gave us a sell, and then the last 2 weeks, we just went bearish on Bitcoin. So I hold Bitcoin, I hold Ethereum. We're all hitting through this. So on the monthly chart on Bitcoin and Ethereum, here, we're under pressure. I am in it for the long haul. I do what's called HODL. I HODL, HODL, HODL. That means hold in cryptocurrency jargon. So I am a HODLer. I hold and accumulate at these drops personally. Every time I've done that, it's always paid in spades. You can't believe how big my cryptocurrency account has grown to so far. And one thing that I highly recommend, if you have a Roth IRA or set up a Roth IRA at a broker that allows you to hold cryptocurrency in that Roth, that I promise you, you will be glad you did that, because all those gains going into the future will be tax-free. All those gains will be tax-free when you're 59.5. If you need to take money out early, it's a 10% penalty on that. So not too bad as far as tax percentages are concerned, right? First homes, you can use money for your first homes. For education, you can pull it out early, no penalty for higher education. So a lot of benefits with a Roth. I highly recommend that you talk to the registered investment advisor to get one set up, and hopefully find one that has a broker that allows you to do cryptocurrency in it and put some in. You can put up to $6,000 annually into that. If you are a grandparent and you want to do something special for your grandkids, find a broker that allows you to set up a Roth for your grandkids, put crypto in it, and by the time they're ready for college, chances are really good that initial $6,000 you put in will be substantially higher, just based off what we're seeing with the continued rise of Bitcoin as a whole. And I was thinking about doing some interviews with some of our students, just to interview them to see what they're doing in their trading, what's working for them, what's not working for them, and doing some live interviews. I know Romulus has done a couple, but I plan on doing a couple myself. And let me know if you'd be interested in seeing me talking to other traders and just having a trader-to-trader discussion on what they're doing in the markets right now, what they're doing to make their money, and how they're progressing, and struggles that they might be dealing with. That very seldom you get to sit in on two traders talking intimately about trading in what they're doing, right? I just think that would be interesting. If you're interested in it, let me know, and I'll definitely do that. Let me know where you're from. I'd like to know what state you're from, but if you're from another country, put that below too. If you're not a subscriber yet, I'd love to have you. Feel free to subscribe. And if you're learning to trade and you definitely would like to have some help, we do that. So just go look for the mentorship on our website, and we'll be happy to talk with you further about what it means to join with us. So take care. Appreciate you all. We'll see you soon. Catch you later. Bye.